now saying, hey, listen, this is getting out of hand and it doesn't appear to be constitutional. And I have to go with my vow to the Constitution more so than just our friendship and high fives. And you don't like that, so then you try to put the squeeze on them and blackball them and things of that nature. That's a horrible sign of leader. That's
it's terrible leadership. Well, when you're a billionaire and you grow up with a golden spoon in your mouth, you make a little bit of noise, I can put that away with a check right. I mean, that's what we're seeing. We're seeing that billionaire bully mentality going,
side with me or else.
That's right. And obviously, there's a split now or a rift a little bit in the Republican Party of people who just said, what? What? So to that, it kind of comes out. I mean, you always kind of say, man, don't live into that stereotype, but you did bring a noose. And you did have the Confederate flag, and right
once again.
So you just kind of like.
And the buffalo hat
and the buffalo. So
I want one of those. That looked like fun.
And you just really just kind of want to say like, God, don't live into that stereotype, right? However, in the last few weeks, the president of the United States has lived into that stereotype that he's been pegged with for the last 4 years. You can't change the stripes on a tiger. That's what I say, right? So
do you say that often?
I do.
That's a thing you say?
I do say that.
All right.
I look at him weird when he says it, but he says it. It's weird.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And the interesting thing is, and this is what I will tell all of my Democratic friends, people with D's in front of their names, is
D's. You got a lot of friends with D's?
Yeah.
D's in front of their names?
D's, nuts.
D's.
I got it.
All right. That tiger, Mr. Trump, for a majority of his life, had a D in front of his name.
Right.
Just because he ran as an R doesn't necessarily mean he's an R. I'm laying it out there.
So much ammunition right now.
But
awesome.
it is so fun, right? It's crazy. Gary says,
go ahead.
What's Gary say? You can change the stripes on a tiger, just that you might not live to see the new pattern. That's correct. Right. And calling it a revolution. Yeah. What was that one lady? Did you send that to me? So, no, it was Daryl. Coach Daryl was like, look at this lady. She had on her, she got maced. She got maced going into the Capitol building.
Oh, okay. Keep going with that,
and she's got the piano. She's got the piano scarf, and she's got a towel, and her husband's around her. And somebody from CNN comes up and goes, "Hey, what happened?" Oh, I got maced. I got maced going in there. I don't know where it came from. It's just, I can't believe it. Well, why are you here? It's a revolution.
but did you see what she was holding in the towel? That was quite the amazing.
No, I didn't see.
The amazing cure for mace is apparently to hold a sliced onion in the towel up to your eyes.
Oh, I didn't see the sliced onion.
You didn't see the sliced onion?
That's fantastic.
Oh, yeah. So I was
post.
Not familiar with the fact that a sliced onion is a good cure for being maced.
These nuts revolution.
Is it? Don't onions hurt the eye?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, they create
salts.
I don't know where it came from. The salt.
Is a good Band-Aid.
So I literally, and I'm like, well, her address is a license plate. So
I'm just saying, I found that phenomenally entertaining.
Where do you live? Illinois, AP 2.
In a van.
That's right. So I laugh at this, but I want everybody out there listening, and I want you to stop getting mad at your friend on Facebook. I want you to stop getting mad at somebody who is a Republican. I want you to stop getting mad at somebody who's a Democrat. These are your friends. These are your neighbors.
Right.
Because the government is doing what the government is doing, you just have to be infuriated right now with Homeland Security. You have to be.
Right.
You have to be absolutely infuriated with Secret Service. How does this even happen when it's been teed up and talked about for 4 to 5 days prior? That's a huge I'm almost speechless. I'm so infuriated that we allow this to happen. And the interesting thing is, to me, is now I see more people being mad at people rather than at our government, rather than at the people who put this play on.
I think it's the frustration, like I was saying, of when you're telling me one thing of how I should or shouldn't act because of my frustration.
Sure.
You know? And then there's consequences when I act with my frustration, how I did it or whatever. I'm arrested, pepper spray, whatever. Then I watch you have your frustration and I watch nothing happen. But I watch you, in a lot of symptoms, conduct yourself in the way that you waved a finger at me for acting with my frustration.
Sure.
On one side, it is now it's your guys' turn. But what you're saying, and I agree with, you shouldn't turn. You shouldn't now be petty. You shouldn't be more divisive about it or condescending to someone else because they're on a different side. Like, it should be that time to unify during this.
Yeah.
Huh. And let's just hold on to that for a moment and think about the ideology of a relationship wherein one of the people in the relationship spent about the last 9 months beating the holy crap out of the other person and then saying, you should be big about this now. Let's unify. Let's get along.
Which side for the 8 months?
Say that again.
Which side for the 8 months is doing the abuse?
Let's take a look at all of the rioting and everything, because that's what everybody's looking at.
Right.
Okay, so being devil's advocate here, everybody who's been breaking things, burning things down, doesn't matter the reason.
Right.
I'm not talking about the reason behind that.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the actions. But then
of rioting for 8 months.
That person, and I'm bringing this all down to a person who's been quite violent for 8 months, is now turning around and saying, yeah, but let's get along now. Do you think the other person who has been experiencing all the violence is going to be amenable? I'm talking about actions. I'm not talking about reasons. I think it's going to be a little hard.
In that same relationship,
it's going to be a little hard.
I watched this movie, What's Love Got to Do with It? And there's this movie, it's about Ike and Tina Turner.
Mm-hmm.
In the whole movie, he is beating her. But there's one scene where in the limousine where she's had enough. And she beat the hell out of Ike. I didn't feel bad for Ike. Because we know that the long history of this hypothetical relationship, yeah, the 8 months, but for 400, okay. And it's been a lot more abusive than just stores. It's been lynching. It's been murders. It's been dragging people behind horses. It's been tarring. It's been a lot worse than just this 8 months. So if we're going to look at the whole story of that relationship, I would understand that 8 months. And I would say, look, this is enough. I don't want to hit you. You shouldn't have to hit me. We should work together if we want a strong relationship. That's why I would think that when after the 8 months, you would say, look, this needs to stop.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I would think that there should be more of an understanding and more of a offering to let's stop all this because it's not working. You hitting me, me hitting you.
Right.
I don't think people are looking at that history right now.
Of course not, because they would have to tell the whole story. It just God, for no reason at all. For 8 months, these people were just unbearable.
Right.
Well,
Right.
If you don't like violence for 8
Right.
months, imagine the entire time since you've arrived.
Right. So the director of HS was skating around the questions this morning on Talk TV. He agreed with Pelosi that the top brass of Capitol Police and the sergeant at arms were fired, but he has no plan of resigning, and he states he did what he had to do. Yeah. Yeah, he sent out a bunch of invitations. Now, the other thing is, I can't believe how easily the windows were broken in that building.
Right?
I'm like, come on. What?
What material is it?
What is going on? Oh my goodness.
This is made out of wine glass. And,
Yeah.
If you tap it.
Right. And it is. And I'm glad that the people tuning in here too are seeing and upset about what's really happening. Right. But at the same time, I get excited because, when you and I were kids and you get in a fist fight with somebody, whether you got your ass handed to you or you handed their ass to them, shortly after that, you were like, all right, we're cool.
Right.
We're good.
Meaning you can have it out on basketball practice.
Right.
After practice. Hey, man.
That's it.
Way to work. Way to work.
That's it. Right. Come on. Way to get after it. Right. And, and the interesting thing is, is that the more we see who the master of puppets is,
Right.
the more we as a nation, as a people, can go, hey, wait a minute, that's not right.
Right.
And what you're doing isn't right. Right. Nowhere. I mean, and Sale just really put it out there on Talk that they're interviewing the guy who dropped the ball. Literally the guy who sent out all the invitations. Oh, well, hey, I had to fire a couple guys. Right. Listen, your job is done in the next week anyway. What's firing these guys got to do with anything? And you probably gave them a beautiful parting gift, probably $300,000 and a lifetime, stipend of spam or something, right? I mean, get mad at the. If you're mad at the rioting that happened at the Capitol building, get mad at the people who allow it to happen. That's it. There's two totally different things from the infuriation of the 400 years of I mean, this was a show. This was a puppet show. They opened doors. They allowed people to come in.
So then, question: would it not also be a puppet show of? We're going to allow people to be murdered. We're not going to do the same amount of strenuous work to make sure that it's done the right way. And those same puppets are pulling strings to infuriate those people.
Absolutely. I think it's fair to say.
So then if we're going to be fair with the Capitol being stormed, then be fair to the response of strings of being puppets as well. Okay. I'm cool with that.
No, I get that.
It feels like I just don't want the message to be misconstrued that these people are just irrational and this is okay because strings were pulled.
No, I don't think I don't think it was irrational. Listen, you get your back against the wall in a corner. You got two choices, right? I mean, go ahead, Pete. You got a good thought going.
Y'all come back now. You hear that? I love that. Actually, I love that show, Beverly Hills. None of this is based on rationality. Correct. All the way around. The fact that anybody is looking at the entire last year, years before, a long history, a period of time, without a complete understanding that we are watching, as Kent has said, a show. Many people are unwitting characters playing a role that they've been pointed toward. None of this is simply, what? My goodness, it's a spontaneous thing.
Right.
Absolutely not. And don't fool yourself for a second thinking that it is.
Right.
This is 100% orchestrated.
Which is why we can tell kids this is how it's going to play out. Watch.
Yeah.
They've done it. We've talked about this.
We've done it before. Over and over and over again.
When are we going to learn?
Why are people so surprised at this? It's entertaining. I think 2021 is going to be even more entertaining than 2020. And I have got a front row seat to this show, and I'm thrilled.
No, especially here at 21.6.
Yeah. So,
I agree.
I just don't like that if we know that strings are being pulled and both are allowed to act irrational. It's almost like this group is allowed to be up here when they're irrational, and this group is still lifted down here for having the same response emotionally.
Sure.
And
well,
shouldn't be
things are happening, right? And tune in on Monday night from 6:15 to about 6:45 for what's it's your move, right? And it's your move is going to talk about this week how we accept fake news, the psychological piece behind it, not just my opinion. I've been doing some research on this, and so I've got some really good things about why we allow ourselves to accept fake news. It's interesting. It's going to be an interesting show, and it might go a little bit longer than a half hour because there's a lot. Yeah, but I've been blown away. But psychologically, you're like, oh. Oh, I see that. I've done that. Yeah. So it's very interesting, right? Master of Puppets, one of a great album, great song from Metallica. But yeah, Master of Puppets, I'm pulling your strings, twisting your mind, smashing your dreams. I mean, it is. And here's my hope for 2021. And I'm not going to use that people start to go question. People start to go, wait a minute.
That's all we're looking for,
right? You don't have to be woke. You have to be awake.
I'm surprised Gary wants a refund after the first 7 days. Are you kidding? This has been one of the best previews.
I know this. Hey, please, what?
I'm happy for my ticket to this ride.
I got a phone call that it didn't have a number or anything on New Year's Eve, and it said, please keep your arms and legs inside the ride at all time. Please remain seated until the ride comes to a complete and full stop. No flash photography.
Do not stand. Do not move around. Remain buckled at all times.
That's right. The need to fortify our capital when I would watch movies about the Capitol being stormed by terrorists. I said to myself, that could never happen. We are the greatest country in the world. There would be no way it could happen. Then a yokel with a selfie stick is sitting up.
That's because, I mean, make no mistake, the castle was not stormed. This is all tongue in cheek. There was no riot. There was no. This was all for your entertainment and for your bemusement. This was not an actual riot thing that happened. This was all designed for your consumption.
So here's 21.6 the Nets challenge. Get some footage, turn off the volume. Get some footage of it, turn off the volume. Don't listen to a thing. And these people are you'll see they're being ushered up the stairs, they're being ushered in. If you eliminate any soundtrack off of that from any, it's funny to watch. You're like, oh, and that's what kind of gets you woken up, like,
right,
wait a minute, right? And yes, you send Black Lives Matter there, they don't make it to the steps. They don't get a foot on the step. They don't.
There's military guards on the steps to make sure they didn't get the foot.
Right. That's what happens. But you get Bubba, who's got invited. What do they call themselves? Good old boys or something? Or I don't know what the hell they call themselves. The Trump people.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know what that. Anyway, that's the frustration. That and as Americans, as people in the world, when it comes to that, you have to be more upset at what just happened.
Right.
That what just took place on the 6th of January than what took place all last summer. You have to be more upset.
But
because they put a bull ring in your nose and drug you over to the show to make you watch it.
Yeah.
You were led over there.
Yeah.
They grabbed you by the nostrils and tugged you right in and said, check this out.
Proud Boys. Yeah, thanks. But Lisa says we should just fire these writers and let the Simpsons writers, because they seem to know everything.
Did you see them draw the guy with the buffalo hat?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
These guys have been nutso, right?
There's also a picture where they drew Homer carrying the statue. The guy.
The same way.
Right.
Yeah.
The same way. And what is coming up, they did draw a picture. They had a little episode, a little scene for the 20th, January 20th, 2021.
Right.
That doesn't look so hot.
Oh.
If you go back and take a look at that little piece of scenery, wherein Bart is standing in front of a destroyed.
You're right. So
yeah,
I gotta see this one.
Yeah, it's so we'll see. We'll see what happens.
So, but here's the other thing. So I get infuriated by this. I'm really upset, and I'm like, man, we've allowed our government to be able to play these type of games with us. I know it's happened for a long time.
Right.
But you get people who are like, man, it was staged. Get pissed about that. If you're going to be mad about the riots that took place, and the burning down of businesses and things of that nature that happened this summer, you have to be more upset about this. This is your government.
That's what I'm saying.
Doing this.
It's cool when this staged event leads to a storming of the Capitol. But if this staged event that knows there's tension, tempers are high, if we don't convict this person,
right,
there's going to be a riot.
No.
Throw the dice. See what happens. No verdict.
But
surprise.
But
the same play runs again. Staged.
But I also want you to understand too. Take a look at the pictures. Go Google images of events that happened back in June. And events that just happened on the 6th of January, you're going to see a lot of the same people there.
You are? But this is where I'm saying, we understand that this is staged, but we don't understand that this person for BLM was not B at all.
Right.
But he was videoed throwing stuff into a store and setting it on fire and blah, 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 blah. And it was peaceful, but we don't remember that part. We just remember B's.
Staged, and now we can go back and find that footage, and it's already been done. It's already been found.
It was the day of.
In fact, I was entertaining myself shooting Kent TikTok things last night, and he probably just got so annoyed at one point. But the images are right there. Oh, look, see this guy? Oh, here he was over the summer doing the same damn thing. But over here. And
I'd be like, okay, so this is understood. So why are we cool with this?
We're not cool. Well, okay.
Bitter?
As Kent, but as a people, as a nation,
we're cool with this because it was staged.
Take a look at social
even
media.
Though that same guy started this that you're upset about from this summer, that same individual, BLM is out of control.
Right.
And the problem is as a nation, there is the public.
Now,
the public is dumb as shit. I'm sorry.
Yep. Well, yeah. I mean, Ray Zielinski, the auto parts king, says it the best. What the American public doesn't know makes them the American public.
Right. But we don't ask why bricks were dropped off around these large cities with the rioting started.
Some of us
mysteriously dropped off.
Yeah. And by the way, they were filming some that they had found on the streets of DC that were the bricks and boards, and they're like, why is this stuff here?
I'll give you inside information. Deshaun and Jamal, we don't have just bricks laying around like that.
Not pallets.
Not pallets and bricks like that.
We'll just roll these right in here.
Drop these on. By these stores. So it's not a.
Hey, interesting. Where we were going together, there happens to be 22 pallets of bricks.
We were going to build a grill.
Anne-Marie says, hey, at least Biden acknowledged the injustice. Now, let me tell you something about Joe Biden. 50 years as a politician, he gets it. That's what we haven't had for the last 4 years, right? Trump was not a politician, and he, is not that apologetic. Biden, being a great politician, will give you the sound bites that you need when you need it. He's not going to push back against his writers. Right. And absolutely the right thing for him to say before inauguration.
Oh, sure.
Right. So he is a statesman's statesman. He knows the game. He's played the game for years. And, you know, when his rider comes up and his handler says, hey, I need you to make this announcement, he's going to do it.
Right.
And he's going to deliver it.
Stay on.
Yeah.
What your card says.
That's right.
Do not deviate.
And that's that. I mean, that's why how many people rolled over on that cabinet for the last 4 years? How many people were fired? How many, that did, whoa, hey, you can't say that. I just did. You're fired.
Read the card and sniff no one.
Right. So yeah. What you will see with Joe Biden in as president, he'll be very presidential.
Right.
He'll be very presidential. What we know or have become familiar with, presidential. Right. Trump, avid businessman and not a politician,
At all.
didn't quite understand. Stay on cue. Stay on focus. Right. So yeah, absolutely, I agree. Why are there no riots in Montana?
Sorry.
Is that a knock, Joe?
People.
Yeah, knock. Who's there?
Because why riot in Montana?
Right.
It's a frick cold.
It's called cow tipping when you ride.
That's right. That's right.
Who's going to notice in Montana?
So listen, we are absolutely excited about bridging civil tension this year. We're gonna we'll do some remote things because you've got a busy year with Lelos and traveling. We're gonna have guests in who are experts on topics and people who just have good opinions.
Right.
We're excited. We're going to continue to irritate people, hopefully, and the idea is to get you to think.
Right.
It's not to piss you off, and it's not to create, anger. It's to can we have a good conversation? I love everybody who's here and who's given us some opinion. We've got to be able to disagree. We've got to be able to listen to each other and have that conversation, and then walk away as friends still. I don't care if you got a D, an R in front of your name, whatever. It doesn't matter. I still think that America is the greatest nation in the world. And once we all remember that and come back together, because of the things that have happened in 2020 and have unfolded a little bit here in 2021, I think it's going to make us a better, stronger, more united nation.
I definitely hope so.
As long as we understand what's happening.
Right.
So
that's the key.
You can try to silence us, Zuckerberg, but we're not going down.
No, we came back. We did get back in.
Yeah.
But the Zuck and the YouTube shut us down a little earlier there. So
yeah, Gary, Joe's just a seat warmer for the real president, Kamala or Kamala. I don't know.
Yeah,
you never know.
Either way.
You never know. Hey, thanks anyway from Singapore starting that rumor, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, all the way from Singapore.
What do you know over there, Gary?
Yeah.
Anyway, stick around. Come back later on this afternoon, 3:30, for Ask a Bookkeeper with our good friend Stephanie Conley. She's going to be here doing some good stuff, helping your small business out, get ready for taxes. If anybody wants to get in touch with you, learn more about Lelos, what you do, Phil, how they do that.
Lelos Clothing on Facebook, Phil Wallace on Facebook, the Bridge Community.
Bridge Community
Facebook as well, and then Lelos Clothing on Instagram.
That's it.
Learn to sew on Instagram.
Fantastic. Hey, that's going to do it for all of us here at 216 The Net for now. This has been Bridging Civil Tension. Good stuff so far. It's a great way to start the new year.
Absolutely. Great way to start the year. Love you guys.
All right.